Alright, something just came in the mail today. You've been anticipating this for a while now. Oh my god. It's right there. Alright, we're doing this unboxing without my actual mic because this guy just came in today. It's one of the most anticipated figure releases of this year, in my opinion. It's one of my personal anticipated figure releases of this year. God, this figure is gorgeous looking. So I just gotta get out the packaging. I cannot tell you how many days I spent just staring at this figure's promos. It's been out in Japan for a couple weeks now. He's right there. He's in a shipper, which means it's a Figuarts and his shipper. Let's just get him out. I can't wait any longer. Oh my god. I see the top of it. Oh, that's so cool looking. Let's just wiggle him out of there. Oh. We have the Son Goku 40th anniversary Dragon Ball Figuarts. Holy shit.
Dragon Ball is one of the most important pieces of work to me. I still remember the day I was introduced to it. I was 11 years old and walked into the living room and noticed my brother was watching something on a tablet. He was watching OG Dragon Ball. I don't remember the specific episode, but it was right before the first tournament arc. I remember immediately being entranced by everything I was watching. It just spoke to me and caught my attention more than anything I've watched before. After that day, I watched the rest of OG Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z with my brother. I got into Dragon Ball at the perfect time because Resurrection F had just come out and Super was about to start airing. Yeah, perfect time. Despite Super's bad start, it genuinely was a perfect time for me to get into Dragon Ball because I got into it while the franchise was being revived. The first new anime in years, tons of games, merch, collabs, and content was coming out from Dragon Ball, and I was there for all of it. It shaped a lot of my teen years, and a lot of the lessons and values I learned from the show have stuck with me to this day. Now, when a piece of media like this has such a profound impact on your life, you may want to own something to express that. Some people are okay with owning a keychain or a shirt, and some people won't be satisfied until they have a whole house full of merch from that series. As for which side I lean on, I lean more into the latter. Are you really surprised by me saying that? Dragon Ball is what got me into collecting action figures in the first place, and it's still the most amount of figures I own from one series. And in a perfect world where I had infinite money and space, I would probably own every Dragon Ball S.H.Figuarts. I unfortunately live in reality, which means I gotta be picky with which ones I buy and display. It broke my heart when I couldn't buy the S.H.Figuarts medical machine.
What?
I usually will only buy a singular version of a character I really like. For example, I have the proud Namekian Piccolo. He comes with a cape, multiple head sculpts, with and without the turban, and a good amount of accessories that perfectly represent Piccolo. He's the perfect Piccolo figure in a lot of ways, so it would be pointless for me to buy the superhero version because that would be a waste of money and space, since it comes with nothing to justify owning a new version of this character. Well, who said money wasn't pointless, huh? There are certain characters where this rule doesn't apply, such as Luffy. I will usually buy any unique Luffy figure because Luffy changes his look and appearance in nearly every arc, especially post time skip. So I don't mind owning every version because this is technically a different version of the character that is being represented. There is another character that is a bigger example of this rule though. For the 40 years Goku has been around, Toriyama liked to change his look a lot. Tamashii knows this, and they sure as hell capitalized on it. Goku in his different forms? They made that. Goku at different ages? They made that. Goku in different animation styles? Do I even have to say it? Goku probably has the most amount of Figuarts made for him compared to any other character, and I don't think he's losing that record anytime soon. Well, maybe Luffy will catch up, but as of now, Goku has the crown. Despite my love for Goku, even I have a hard time justifying owning all of these figures of him. Even if it's a unique form, I don't know, man. I often skip out because it's not one of my favorite forms. So which Goku figures do I buy then? When Tamashii makes such a unique looking figure such as these guys, I have to buy them. It's like my hand can't stop no matter what I do. I love these unique figures that try to perfectly capture a certain style. It always makes them more interesting and justifiable to buy. They just have really good shelf presence, if that makes sense. So you can imagine the pure joy I felt seeing these prototype leaks. A new Kid Goku figure art. That already made me very interested in this figure because I actually don't own a Kid Goku figure art. GT and Daima don't count since that's a grown ass man in an 8-year-old body. I've really wanted to own a true Kid Goku figure art, but since the original ones came out years ago, those prices immediately hit me with the reality that I may not own one anytime soon. So seeing this new Kid Goku that's based off of Toriyama's original drawings filled me with such an uncontrollable amount of hype and joy. However, people started to notice some weird things about the release of this guy. No official announcements from Tamashii's social media accounts, only the announcement from the Shonen Jump magazine. That's no big deal, let's just see what the translated info from the magazine says. I mean, the worst that'll happen is that this is like a P Bandai exclusive that'll be pricey, but at least still obtainable, right? Oh, you can only obtain them from a specific Shonen Jump magazine? You need a Japanese address to get the magazine and order the figure? There's no plans of releasing him overseas and he's staying a Japan exclusive for now? Learning all of this immediately broke my heart a little bit. This beauty of a figure seemed like it was going to be impossible to get, and to be honest, after learning all this information, I gave up. Seeing how hard this guy was going to be to get immediately soured all excitement I had toward this figure. It wasn't even out of lack of trying. I stayed up till 3 AM to cop me Toji when I had work at 8 AM. I'm dedicated to this shit. It's just that once you see this, you immediately know it's going to be hard to obtain, which means you're competing with other people to get it, and a good amount of those other people you're competing with are usually scalpers. And if a website puts them up, then you're gonna have to constantly refresh or constantly pay attention to your phone for that notification telling you that they have it back in stock. It just wasn't worth the hassle for me. I had accepted that I may not own this figure and was okay with that until in-hand photos came in. As soon as these in-hand photos hit my timeline, the excitement filled my body again, and I became dedicated to securing a pre-order and getting him in my possession. At first, it seemed hopeless since nowhere had him in stock until I ran to a website called Yoya Kunao. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Now, I've never heard of this website before and I was very skeptical about trusting this place. However, after reading comments about multiple people vouching for them and saying they were trustworthy, I decided to take the risk and order him. And guess what? He's here. I can't believe I own him. No more waiting. Let's just take a look at him and everything he offers. Starting off with the box, and he comes in a brown shipper, which a lot of quote-unquote premium figures come in. If this box has any value to you, I will judge you. Let's slide him out and take a look at the actual box, and oh my. The front of this box is a perfect one-to-one recreation of the first Dragon Ball cover in Japan. The back is as well, but it doesn't include any of the Bandai or Tamashii logos. This box is gorgeous, and a decent amount of work went into it alone, considering that some of the text and logos have actual texturing to them. I can't tell you how much I love this slipcover alone. I will never buy a figure just to keep it displayed in the box, but when you see packaging like this, I don't know, man. I'm tempted to just find space for it on my shelf to display it like this. This is just a slipcover, so let's slip it off. And take a look at the actual box. The box underneath follows the regular Dragon Ball design and it looks great. The promo image on the front makes me so happy every time I see it. The only thing different about this box is the back of it, since you'll probably notice that it looks a little off. It looks off because the copyright, cautionary, and other legal jumbo is missing from the bottom. Since it's not being sold in the regular retail setting, I guess it doesn't need to be included. Okay, we've yapped enough about the box. Let's take him out and actually show it off. You already know my first impressions out of the box. Perfection doesn't even begin to describe how well this figure looks. He's genuinely the perfect Kid Goku figure we've gotten. He's tiny, a bit chubby, and his facial expressions perfectly capture Toriyama's early Dragon Ball art style. Now, just like the S.H.Figuarts Goku figure art, this figure's look out of the package is incomplete since we need to plug his tail in. Just pop it in and you're all set. And man, this might be my favorite looking figure to come out this year. This smiling faceplate especially. I smile when I see this face. It just radiates happy and positive energy. Here you go, Reiner. Now you won't be depressed during all of season 4. Now, this figure and his accompanying 3 faceplates are here for a specific reason. All 4 of them are based on specific drawings from Toriyama's original drawings of Goku before and around the time Dragon Ball became serialized in Shonen Jump. This included booklet actually shows you which drawing each faceplate is supposed to represent, and all of them represent them to a T. It's funny how Tamashii can have faceplates that barely look like the character they're trying to represent, and other times it looks so unrealistically canny, you're confused on how they did it. So yeah, this figure is a perfect representation of this version of Kid Goku. However, he's technically not the only character in the package. We got the dragon as well. And I say dragon in quotation marks because I feel like this dragon is supposed to represent Shenlong, or at least a very early version of him. Regardless of who or what he is, Tamashii made sure to give him the love he deserves. Gorgeous sculpting, paintwork, and detailing overall. I love how they handled the link and the twirling his body is doing. They made it look natural, but also made it look exactly one-to-one with the drawing. I have no complaints with this guy, but I do have one small complaint with Goku. A little bit of spoilers, but this is my only major complaint with this figure, and it's the fact that on the elbows and knees, you can see the joints. I know, the world will now end because of this. It's not a major issue, especially since it's only the inside pins that are showing, but I think it's a fair thing to complain about since the Diamond Kid Goku is a similar size and he has pinless joints. so I don't see why they couldn't give it to this premium figure, but I digress. When it comes to the look of this figure, it's so fucking good. I get feelings of joy and a bit of nostalgia whenever I look at this guy. Sure, the pins showing is a bit annoying, but it's a small sacrifice in order to get this figure this accurate and perfect looking. I can find good looking Goku figures any day of the week, but what makes a S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball figure so special is that sweet old articulation. As you could probably see, this guy is tiny, and with smaller characters, they're usually not as articulated as the 6-inch figures. Since they're smaller, it's harder to add articulation points that are sturdy and don't break the sculpt of the figure. So if you have any of the Daima characters or the GT Kid Goku, articulation is going to be similar to those. Starting off with the head, and he looks up pretty high when combined with the neck. And he can also look pretty far down. He can also look left, right, and gets the general expected head movement. His actual body is where it gets a little bit more complicated and disappointing for some. Starting with the arms, they aren't the best even for the smaller size, as they can only go this high up and have a single jointed elbow. You can rotate at the elbow like Rebel Tech figures, which is neat, but the hands just get okay movement out of them. What is pretty impressive is that there's a little butterfly joint in him, which means he can cross his arms, which also means that you can get a decent Kamehameha pose out of him. Now, this torso is what intrigued me because I was confused on how they were going to handle it, but they handled it surprisingly well. He only gets a ball joint at the waist, but it does its job and allows you to get a decent crunch forward. There's also some rotation and a bit of tilt, but because of the smaller size, it's not a lot. I'm actually pleasantly surprised they managed to engineer it to work this well despite the size limitations. His legs aren't as impressive, but still functional as they go pretty high up. You get rotation at the waist, a single jointed knee, and the feet go a little bit up and down and get some light tilt left and right. No toe joint, so yeah, you get 1 point Marvel Legend collectors. For such a small figure, I'm not expecting out of this world engineering. I'm not even expecting the standard S.H.Figuarts engineering, yet I can't really say I'm disappointed with him. This guy isn't meant to be the dynamic aerobatic Goku that later S.H.Figuarts represented. This is a small chubby kid Goku, and his articulation is exactly what I expect. I'm not gonna give this guy hell because he doesn't have double jointed knees or a better ab crunch, because that's not what this figure is aiming for. They give him the exact articulation he needed for specific poses, and that works for me. As the true Joe 505 fans noticed, I covered articulation before accessories. I'm already breaking channel traditions, man. I should retire. Anyways, the reason I did that is because there's a little more accessories than usual. It's funny, I made fun of Tamashii for rarely including extra accessories besides the main necessities for the character, and the literal next figure I get from them, it comes with 3 trays packed with accessories. Is this karma? Or like a good karma? Anyways, there's so much to cover, and if I want this video to be less than 30 minutes, I gotta start covering them now. So the first thing that will slide out of the box when you open this guy are the instruction manuals and this little booklet. When was the last time we had instructions on a piece of paper instead of them being printed on the box? They're just instructions, so we could toss them to the side and take a look at this little booklet. Now, all of it is in Japanese, so I can't read any of it, but from what I've read online and what Google Image Translate says, this booklet basically talks about how the figure came to be and interviews from the sculptors of the figure. Pretty cool, but you know what they say about Dragon Ball fans, so let's get to the real accessories. Starting off with the head, and we got a pretty wide range of faces and hair sculpts. The 4 faces included with this guy are the super happy smiling face, which is fantastic, a kind of embarrassed smile and or smirking face, a side-eyed cocky face, and a goofy screaming face. As you can probably see, we got 2 different head sculpts, with the main differences being the amount of spikes on Goku's head. The spikier one is only compatible with the screaming face, which is a little lame, but it's accurate. For the other head sculpt, we get 2 alternative bang pieces. These are both here because the amount of bangs Goku had in the early part of the series varied a lot and wasn't always consistent. So I really appreciate that Tamashii added to both of them. We got a lot of hands included with this guy as well, so let's quickly run them down. So we got 2 fists, 2 peace sign hands, 2 open hands, 2 holding something hands, 2 escalating curling hands, I don't know what to call these, 2 karate chopping hands, and 2 more of those hands but with the fingertips curled in a bit. Wow, that's a lot of hands. Some of those might sound like weird inclusions, but just like the faces, a lot of these hands are here to recreate specific poses. Anyways, I've already covered a lot of the accessories and I'm sure you're tired of hearing about it, so let's keep going because we're only about halfway through. We got a couple of weapons Goku comes with, which includes his iconic power pole and 2 tonfas. That's what they're called on the website at least, and I probably did not pronounce that right. Make sure you put on the sheath for his power pole, by the way, and to remove the top piece when you have Goku holding the power pole. Then we have 2 different belt knot pieces. A normal straight one and one that's meant to look like it's flowing in the wind. Be careful when switching them, by the way. The piece that's connecting them isn't really the sturdiest thing in the world, and I feel like if you constantly swap between the 2, it will break. With those 2 belt pieces, that's everything included with Goku. Well, kind of. You get this orange thing included in the box, but I have no idea what its purpose is, so oh well. Don't go anywhere. We still gotta cover the dragon and everything he comes with. I don't really count the dragon himself as an accessory since his name is on the box, and on the website, his accessories are listed separately, but you can label him an accessory if you like. I'm not stopping you. First thing he comes with is this gorgeous stand. Something about the blue they use mixed with the yellow just looks incredibly nice and pleasing. Now this is a stand, so you gotta pop out these 3 pegs, stuck in them so you can plug these cloud pillars in. Now out of the box, it might be a bit confusing on where to place these, but that's why I am here, so I could show you. They go from smallest to biggest, from front to back. Each cloud piece has a different connector at the end of them so you don't mix them up by accident. Once it's fully assembled, you might notice there's no pegs or any ways to connect the dragon to the clouds. Did I miss a step? Well, the instructions just say to snap it on there, so let's just do that. Oh my god. Magnets on an S.H.Figuarts? No way they're using something this advanced. They're barely just learning about cloth accessories, but we're getting full-on magnets? This is revolutionary. Fuck the 3.0 bodies or the 4.0 bodies. I need a 1.0 magnet body. Okay, maybe I need to calm down a bit. I do really love the choice of magnets for this figure though, and I hope we see Tamashii using more of them when it comes to pieces like this. Something about it just looks so much more premium and better when there's not stupid peg holes always on the figure. Then the next accessory included is this little clear piece with some ridges. This is so you can sit Goku on top of the dragon. You take out this part of the dragon's fin, plug in the piece, and sit Goku on top of it. It's kind of hard to make it work because Goku doesn't really snap or connect onto it. You just kind of have to balance him on there, but it does help, so cool. With that, however, that's every accessory included with this figure. I feel like this figure came with so much, but not in an overwhelming way. There are some figures that just come with so much out of the box, I don't know what to do with them half the time. But not with this Goku. Sure, it's a little lame that the hair sculpts and faces are locked behind certain combinations, but it really isn't a big deal. Especially since that's not the goal of this figure, but we could talk about that goal later. For now, I just wanted to say that if a figure is being labeled as a premium release, it should come with as many accessories as unique and essential as this Goku did. Alright, the accessories and detailing on this figure may be magnificent, but this Kid Goku addresses an issue I've had with every other Kid Goku figure art, and that's the scale. The original Kid Goku S.H. figure art is massive in comparison to every other Dragon Ball figure art, and while it doesn't ruin anything about this figure, it's a little lame seeing him so big and out of scale. Thankfully, Daima and GT Kid Goku are at an accurate size, but those never fill the void of owning a small Kid Goku figure art, which is why I'm so happy this guy is so small. He stands at just around 3 inches tall, which makes him surprisingly taller than Daima Kid Goku. I don't mind that though, as his scale is just so perfect. An accurate, small, and chubby Kid Goku is just one of those figures you need in your Dragon Ball shelf, so thank you Tamashii for releasing him, even if I hate the way you released him. To say this Kid Goku is perfect is wrong. He's not perfect. He has limited articulation, and the exposed fins still kind of annoy me. However, I've never been happier to stare and look at a figure as I've been able to with this one. Everything about this figure just makes me so happy, and while I don't love using this phrase, it's truly one of those figures that look like it was pulled right out of the manga. Now, this is where I would talk about how to acquire this guy, but that's when I gotta break some sad news to you. There is no way to get this guy. Officially at least. Like I mentioned earlier, the only way to get this guy was to get a code from a specific Shonen Jump magazine, and it was only possible to do that if he had a Japanese address. Thankfully, some overseas retailers sold this guy to a similar price of what you would have to pay over there. But still, if you didn't get him when he first came out, your only option is resellers on sites like eBay. Is what I would say if this guy wasn't randomly announced for NYCC after I was done doing all the voiceovers. Thanks Tamashii, I'm actually really happy that he announced that right after I got the recording my voice. Really appreciate it. Nah, I actually do love that he's being released in some capacity here in the States. That means that even you have a chance to get this guy. Even if you're not going to the convention, it is almost guaranteed he'll go up on P-Bandai right afterwards, so just be on the lookout for him, guys. There is one issue though. He takes up a lot of space with the dragon to stand. I could put the dragon away, but this is too beautiful to store away in its box. I don't have a lot of space on my shelf though, so I have to make a decision. Either store this guy back in his box or get rid of all my current figures. I mean, this would include all my Dragon Ball, One Piece, and my Attack on Titan Rebel techs. This is going to be a really hard decision. Just kidding, guys. This figure is too peak to keep it tucked away.
Oh yeah, if you were wondering what was in that other box when I went to pick up this Goku, it's this Supergirl Mizuyama Gucci figure. I bought her because I just know that next year her price is gonna skyrocket. I was kind of interested in getting it already, and you know, fuck it, we might as well get it before everything becomes too expensive to buy. Yeah, she's cool and all, but she happened to be delivered on the worst day possible because that also got delivered. So one of these figures taking the spotlight for me for the next couple of weeks.